live stream today. I haven't done many videos or shorts or live streams in a while, and I thought I would just come out and see if I can position the camera better. This is kind of a crappy camera angle. There we go. And eat some blueberries while we're gonna do a little backyard orchard tour, but I ate the blueberries anyways, so I thought I would show you. Maybe I need to move the camera a little. Can you guys see the blueberries? There we go. Because I'm gonna eat the blueberries anyways, so I might as well just film it. There's so many blueberries this year. The bushes have been doing a lot better than they have in the last several years. So that is super fun and exciting. And why not start the day with blueberries? They're really good for you. Supposedly they lower blood sugar in a weird way. And they're super delicious. I actually didn't like blueberries when I was a child until my parents planted a blueberry bush. I had never had a homegrown blueberry, and once I did, it tasted like a different fruit, and I am hooked on blueberries now. Homegrown blueberries, not regular blueberries from the grocery store. Good morning, Logan. I'm in my backyard orchard and we're eating some blueberries this morning. Homegrown blueberries. I don't know if you guys can see. There's lots of blueberries here and they are so delicious. Hello, Scott B. Period cups are good for the environment. I guess they would be. Honestly, I've never tried them. Maybe I should one day. I have heard about them. Yeah, never tried them before. Well, there's a first time for everything, so maybe one day I'll try that too. And these are definitely good blueberries. If you've never tried a homegrown blueberry, highly recommend it. They literally taste like a different fruit than the grocery store ones. They're so good. And I don't know, I know some people struggle with blueberry growing, but if you live in the Pacific Northwest, at least on Vancouver Island, a lot of the areas have acidic soil here, so no, we're not doing that. We're not talking about those types of things. This is like an all audiences stream here. I literally have people who watch this channel that are throughout the entire lifespan, from, I want to say, age probably like 8 through 90, so we're not doing any kind of strange behaviors here. That is not happening. It's for everybody. And please, we're gonna refrain from those comments. They're a little bit odd. So, yeah, I'm just gonna eat some blueberries and then I'm gonna show you guys some of my other fruit trees. The apples have been going absolutely crazy. And I'm not sure if any of you guys are actually into gardening or backyard fruit growing, but if any of the gurus out there show up, I do have some questions about my apple tree that I'm kind of looking for some advice on. I have 2 apple trees and one of them is needing some attention in more than one way. Let's go check it out. What comment are you referring to? We're not talking about that. So, here is my apple tree. One of my apple trees. And they are just loaded with apples this year. Even more than last year. And I've been thinning them quite often. But I have a lot more thinning to do. I'm just taking them off. I come out here almost every day and I thin them. Hello, Alexander, Serbia. Welcome to my backyard orchard, Vancouver Island. So my apple tree, this is one of them. There's 5 varieties on this tree and it's having a little problem. I don't know if you can tell what the problem is. I think it's a problem. And that is, this branch is so full of apples that it's pretty much almost on the ground. So I'm thinking about cutting it maybe around here, but I haven't really decided if that's a good idea. Am I going to be like butchering a whole variety of apples if I cut it? So thank you for the like, Alexander. So I don't know. I mean, there's a lot of apples on here, but then there's still a lot of apples in the rest of the tree. So if I cut this, it's not going to be a huge big deal, I think. I think the tree will still have more than enough apples to ripen later in the season. Just kind of thinning it as we go. I do this every single day and it's not enough. I'm not trying to clean the tree, but the reality is this tree has too many apples on it. No matter how many I take off, it's not enough. And it's hard to do that because you feel like you're sacrificing the tree, but the tree will be healthier if you do. So, yeah, that's the story of my apples. I am definitely thinking of taking out my chainsaw and cutting down here somewhere because I don't want this tree to actually break. 40 degrees Celsius. Oh my God, it is not that here. It is like, I think it's like 23 this morning. It's only 6:40 in the morning right now. Hello, VRGO. Thank you. Yeah, it goes up to about 30 during the day here, so that's kind of a nice temperature. I have been taking a little break from making YouTube videos for a while. I've been going swimming and forest bathing every single day for, it's been 2 weeks. It's been a while, and it's so nice. I look forward to it every day. So yeah, this is the story of the apple tree. We have another apple tree. We'll check that one out and see how it's doing. This is the second 5 variety apple tree, and this one doesn't really have the same problem, although almost. This one branch at the bottom, I might have to do something with this because it's looking like it's gonna break too, and it's not at maturity yet. So let's do some more thinning here. I mean, the apples are looking pretty good, but the branch can't really support this many apples. So it's so sad, but we just plucked them off. I mean, how many apples can this one little branch support? There's like, I don't know, 10, 15, 20 on this branch, and I've already started removing them. Actually, I'm gonna do this. I don't think this is ripe, but it almost feels slightly soft, and this is so small. There's no way this could be ripe. July 11th, I think, today. How am I? I am doing okay. Thank you very much. What? It's ripe. I, in a million years, did not think I would have a ripe apple in July. It's actually sweet. I thought I was going to bite into something bitter or sour, but no, it's actually sweet. This is crazy. It's so tiny, this little apple. Now I'm having second thoughts about all of my composting. I've been composting all the apples I've been thinning. So maybe I shouldn't be composting them. I'm shocked that this is actually ripe. And it is like super delicious. It's like I don't want to give it a super high score, but I'm going to say it's like an 8 or a 9 out of 10 on the flavor scale, and the texture is so good. No pests in here. It's mini, it's tiny, it's adorable, but it's like perfectly ripe. I am so shocked. Not what I expected when I came out here today. I thought we would eat blueberries and and check out the fruit trees, but I didn't think I'd be eating apples today. That is mind-blowing. I guess the plants are more confused than I thought. We've had such weird weather, hot, cold, hot, cold, hot, cold, and the apples have ripened, some of them in early July, so that is very interesting. Food for thought, literally. I'm just going to put this into the compost bin. And you can check out my vegetable garden as I walk by. We're not really taking a look at this too much today, but I have to show you. I didn't plant these. These are all from composting. I have pink poppies growing all over my vegetable garden. I think it's so pretty. These are peony poppies, and they started in my rock garden. Raid from Howie. Oh, thank you so much. Oh my gosh, 13 of you. Good morning. That is so exciting. Howie, oh my God, thank you for all of your kindness. I think you missed, I just ate an apple, my first apple of 2024, and I did not expect to. I was gonna compost it, and it was ripe. I thought, oh, I'll try it, and it was so delicious. Keep up the great work. Thank you guys so much. We're gonna check out my plum tree next. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Earthling Howie sent me. Oh, Howie is the sweetest earthling on Vancouver Island. And the most, let's say, I always think of Howie as like a food scientist or like a professor of the food world when it comes to growing things. So much to learn from you, Howie. Readers hide here. I guess you guys are hiding. Okay, we're gonna check out the plum tree. We're underneath the plum now. This is the tree that I do believe is dying a slow death, but it is still producing plums. Here we are, right underneath. There's a bunch of plums here. I kind of think I should thin it, but I don't want to because the tree is just, it's not doing well, but it's putting so much energy into thinning these to producing these plums. So it breaks my heart to try thinning it, but it almost looks like I should thin the plums. I don't know. There's probably about 20, maybe 30. You guys, look who's here. It's a ladybug. Oh, the camera doesn't want to focus. Darn it. Come on, camera. It's a cute little ladybug. There's a couple of them in here on this plum tree. Might have to start making videos again, seeing all the support, especially this time of the day. Absolutely, give it a try. I wanted to show there's some more plums kind of at the top here. Nothing is close to being ripe on the plum tree. Hello, Mercy's Life in UG. Welcome. Just scoping things out. I'm going to show you the other side of the plum tree. It is like infested with multiple diseases and problems. You see over here? Well, it's not that bad, but it has been worse. This side of the tree has been riddled with dying and death. Like, I've cut off so many dead branches from this tree. It like literally looks like it is dying. And if we come into the tree, this is horrendous. Like, this is all possibly aphids or some other insect is just trying to destroy the tree, but it is still clinging to life and trying so hard to grow plums. It is a fighter, this tree. Grandma grows hard in the garden. Yes, there are some definite problems here, and I almost cut this tree down in mid-spring. I was definitely thinking about cutting it down, and then on a different live stream I found the plums. I didn't even know there were plums in the tree, and now I don't have the heart to cut it down anymore, so it's gonna stay for now. And over here is the cherry tree. Now, the cherries had a really good season. This is a 5 variety tree. And all of the sweet cherries, I think, are gone. So what you see here, these are actually a variety of sour cherry. And I do eat them sour, believe it or not. They are still good. We'll eat one together. Definitely sour. The apple I had was so much sweeter. Now, if you have a sour cherry tree, you can eat the cherries the way they are. How old is the plum? I have a 3-year-old plum, no fruit yet. Our plum is getting hit hard with Japanese beetles. The plum tree is about 10 years old. Most of my fruit trees are 9-10 years old. I have a few younger ones we'll take a look at shortly. How about taking a cutting from the plum tree to try to save it? I don't know, Howie, maybe you can talk about that. Can you grow a plum tree from a cutting? I thought you had to do it from a pit. I'm not sure about that. And if you're talking about grafting, I've had mixed luck with grafting things, so I'm not sure grafting is really for me. I don't know if I have the skills to do it correctly, but that is an interesting proposition. So what I was going to mention about sour cherries is that if you have an abundance of sour cherries on a cherry tree and you don't really like the sourness, like for me, I actually don't mind sour things. I like sweet, sour, don't love bitter, but you can make a cherry cheesecake. Now, I don't eat too much sugar anymore. I've lost a lot of weight in a couple years, but I did do that one season. I made the most delicious cherry cheesecake and it was so good with my sour cherries. I think the sourness brings out the sweetness even more in something like a cheesecake. And I might do that again. I might not make it for myself. I'm thinking of either for my parents, my nieces, or my coworkers, or maybe all of them. I haven't decided, but I'm thinking of making another cherry cheesecake to give to someone that I'm not going to have, but because they are so delicious and I don't want to waste my cherries. I will eat them raw, but when you have so many, it's a lot to eat raw, so I might do that. How about taking a cutting? We talked about that. Yep. So we are going to let's check out the raspberries right beside us actually. They're just starting to get their ripeness to them. Now, what I have to tell you a story about these raspberries because it's kind of interesting actually. So these bushes, I'm just gonna take a seat and have a little snack here. These bushes that you're seeing, I didn't plant a single one of these. And I'll tell you why they appeared here. So I've been in this garden for 10 years and on the other side of the fence, there's a fence over there. My neighbors have a garden and they have a massive raspberry over there. And the first couple years living here, these bushes kept self-seeding into the grass like over and over, and I kept pulling them out because I had them in my vegetable garden. I didn't want raspberries in the grass, so I was weed whacking them, I was pulling them out, and after 2, 3, maybe 4 years of attempting to get rid of them, I said to heck with it. I basically put some rocks underneath them as a mulch and I let them grow. And I'm so glad that I did because they actually taste better than my vegetable garden raspberries. So I feel like if nature plants a plant in your garden and it's not invasive, just let it grow. Nature planted it for a reason, so don't argue with Mother Nature. And these berries are much sweeter than the sour cherries. I recently found 3 fire cherries on our property. No fruit yet. A Seek app told me what type of tree it is. Very helpful for identifying plants. Very cool. I've never tried that app. Raspberries for the win. Yes, absolutely. They are so good. And raspberries, I don't know about you guys, but on Vancouver Island in the grocery stores, raspberries are so expensive. If you were to try to buy like a whole carton, it's like $7, $10, and you're getting like the tiniest like little container of raspberries. Like they're so expensive. So if you have the climate, and we have the climate here, grow raspberries because why not? They're so delicious and the plants multiply so rapidly. This is like the best way. I already had my breakfast, but I had eggs for breakfast, and this is the perfect way to complement my eggs. Just come out in the garden and have a few fruits here and there. You get some vitamin C, you get some fiber and sweetness, and a great way to start the day. Hello, Faye, a fellow Canadian. Welcome. We're checking out my raspberries right now. Driving and listening. Yeah, these raspberries are so good. So, I think we've talked about them for a bit. Maybe we should check out my figs. We haven't checked those out for a while. Too true. Blackberries are super expensive here too. Absolutely. Prices are skyrocketing in the food department. So we're going to take a little walk and check out the fig trees. So right here, this is one of my fig trees. Oh, the sun is shining. We're going to move a different way. How about from over here? This is a Desert King fig tree. Super vigorous and productive. Great tree for Vancouver Island. And check out all the figs. I have to say, every growing season, there is 1 or 2 crops, sometimes 3, that are in abundance. And this year, it's the figs. I'm so excited. The figs are going crazy. I've never had so many figs before. They are literally everywhere on this tree. And that is super, super exciting to me. And I don't actually eat all of the food in this garden. I have a local family, and my dad is a fig fanatic. Like, out of all the people in the world who could love figs, I don't know anybody who loves figs more than my dad. So I think he's getting pretty excited about the volume of figs on this tree. And he'll definitely be getting quite a few of them. So that is awesome. Too true. Blackberries are super expensive. Yes, they are. So nothing is ripe yet. And there is a second crop of figs growing, but the main crop is typically what gets eaten. I suspect probably by the end of, it's hard to say, end of July. Depends on the weather. If it cools off, it might take into August before the figs ripen, but soon. I'm new to your channel. How often do you do these types of videos? This is great. I love to learn so much and walk about. I was live streaming pretty often for a little while, but I have a lot going on this summer and I've cut back a little bit, but I do hope to get back to it pretty soon. So I can't say how often, because sometimes I was doing it every couple days, and then there's other times I go a couple weeks. I don't really know. It's very sporadic. Growing zone. Now, I thought of myself in a zone 7 to 8 when I started YouTube. And then another islander from the area came on a live stream and suggested that this is actually more of a zone 8 to 9. So it really depends who you ask locally. I feel like Vancouver Island has a lot of microclimates within our bigger climate. So depending on who you ask, anywhere from a 7 to 9, which is a huge range, I'm going to put myself in an 8. I feel like that's realistic, but yeah, it seems to be a pretty hot topic when you talk to gardeners on the island. It's quite interesting. So I actually have a second fig tree. We're going to check that out right over here. This is also a Desert King fig tree. And you might expect that it should be growing in a similar way to the first one, but it actually grows quite different than the one I just showed you. So this fig tree, planted at the exact same time as the other one, is actually growing in part shade, believe it or not. There is a western red cedar right here. On the other side of the fence, I think it's called a Swedish maple, that giant tree, which is like probably at least 50 feet tall. And then on the other side, we have another western red cedar. And then smack in the middle is my Desert King fig tree. So the growing conditions on this fig tree are completely different than the one that is like, I'm going to say that's not even like 12 feet away. It's pretty close. This is full sun, and over here is part shade. And the tree definitely does respond differently. This is an example of a microclimate. So this tree has a lot less figs. There are definitely figs in here, They're really hidden in the foliage, but there's figs in here. I'd say half the number of figs, maybe less than that on this tree, but it will still produce figs. So I feel like that's a pretty good example of a fruit tree. What difference does full sun make? You can still grow fruit if you don't have full sun for many fruit varieties. They're just going to produce probably half the volume of fruit than if you had a full sun location. So that is something to consider if you're thinking of planting a fruit tree and you don't have full sun for however many hours a day. You can still do it. The tree just won't produce as much as if you had a full sun location. Figs in 8. Please name fig variety. Desert King. Yes, this is called Desert King. Both of these trees are Desert Kings. I have other fig varieties. We'll take a look at those. Only one of my other fig trees, I have several, has actually produced. So we're gonna there's one in the vegetable garden that produced last year. We'll look at that, and then we'll look at the ones that haven't produced. But first, we're gonna check out my peach tree. Right here, this is my coconut ice peach tree. Now, last year it had its best season ever. This tree is, I'm gonna say it's 5 years old, or is it 6 years old now? It's not that old. I planted, no, it's not. I planted in 2020, so it's 4 years old. Holy smokes. Coconut ice peach. The first year it didn't produce. The second year it produced 7 of the most delicious peaches I've ever had in my life. And I would describe them basically tasting like a tropical drink with the essence of peach. Like, it tastes exotic. It doesn't even taste like a peach, but it has that just a subtle peach flavor. So delicious. It is actually a white peach. So now this needs to be thinned. This year it's not having a good year, probably because it had 150 peaches last season, which was mind-blowing. Like, this tree was loaded last year. But this year it got hit really, really hard by the peach leaf curl. And the way that I treat fruit trees is organically. I don't use any fungicides or sprays or anything like that. I had a golden retriever for 10 years. He passed away in, about 5 or so months ago. And he was a very mouthy dog. He ate everything in the garden. He ate leaves, he ate rocks sometimes, fruits, vegetables. He was just like a little garden carnivore, I don't know, mouthy man. And I never wanted to hurt him. So I never in a million years would spray any of my fruit trees or anything like that. So I learned how to garden organically. I use a lot of soil amendments like seaweed extract, kelp meal, rock phosphate, sea soil, and I amend the soil really well. And that's how I deal with the pests in the garden. I actually, for the fruit tree, like the peach, when it had its leaf curl, I very gradually remove all the leaves that are infected, and I really fertilize the soil, and that's how I beat the disease. Like, it's pretty much gone now, but you can see the remnants. It didn't fully recover. I'll probably prune those off soon. But in terms of the peaches, it had hundreds of flowers, and it's left with maybe like 30 on the tree, so it really took a toll from the disease. Sorry for being so chatty. No, keep chatting. I love the comments. It's awesome. So let's look at a fig tree that has not produced anything. Right here, this is another fig tree, and I actually don't know the variety. This one was a rescue from my parents' garden. They have given me a lot of different plants and trees over the last few years. And this is a mystery fig. It was in their garden, never produced. And I have to say, I've had it for 2 or 3 seasons now, and it still hasn't produced. So it might just be too young of a tree. I'm not really sure. I mean, it's not causing any harm. I'm not going to pull it out. It's very healthy. Don't know what type, but who knows? Maybe one day it'll produce something. It's growing right next to my knockout roses and a burning bush. So let's venture up this way. and we will check out the blueberries. I think we started the stream around here. Have a few more blueberries as we venture up the slope. Blueberries are so abundant this year. This plant is just loaded, and I've been eating them every day. I just come out here and have a little snack. Marcel fig, who knows? Very possible. So up here, this is a dwarf nectarine tree. I'm trying to remember the name. I want to say it's, oh, I don't know. I literally just threw out all my plant tags, but it is definitely a dwarf, and this is only its second season, and it's doing well, but there's no fruit. And I don't blame the tree. It's way too young to really produce fruit, so it's just hanging out and growing and doing what it needs to do in its little tree life. And we have another fig tree right over here. Now this one is not doing as well. This is another rescue fig from my parents' garden, and I should probably, I was gonna say cut it, but now I notice there's leaves coming out of here, so maybe not. Never produced anything. I don't know if it ever will, but it's pretty small, so who knows? Maybe one day it'll produce something. And I do have another fig that has produced, and we're gonna check that out next. These are the apple trees I showed earlier. And we have another blueberry bush over here that is definitely doing well. Sorry for the interruption. Apparently either my Wi-Fi or YouTube tried to boot me out. Sometimes that happens. Not necessarily reliable internet connections. So, my fig tree, I'm in the vegetable garden. It is actually in the garden, but I think I have to go the other way because the garden is so full right now. To access the tree, we're going down the slope. And this is the cherry over here. And you can see a better look at it from the fence here. Whoa. So this is a Chicago hardy fig tree, and last season it was the first time it produced figs, and I was so excited to try them. So I've eaten Desert King and I've had Chicago hardy. In terms of taste, they are both delicious, but I have to say Chicago hardy is like, oh my god, the flavor is amazing. Like, I like Desert King, but I am like over the heels in love with Chicago hardy fig flavors. So good. And it does have figs. There's one here. Let's see. Ooh, there is actually a little bit of softness there. I don't think it's ripe yet, but I gotta keep my eye on this because I'll tell you what happened last year when I had those figs for the first time. In this time of year, there was one or two on the tree, maybe three, I can't remember. And I was watching them, waiting for them to ripen. And I had my garden supervisor at the time. And I was like, okay, one more day and I'm gonna pick the figs. And the next day I went out and they were gone, completely gone. And I don't know who ate them. Did he eat them? Did another bird eat them? They were gone and I was devastated. I thought, oh my God, I'm never gonna get to try the figs. And then in September, a second batch ripened that I didn't realize was on the tree. And that's when I picked, I can't remember, 6 figs or 8 figs. But they were so good, so delicious. And this year I actually get the early crop, so that is so exciting. Well, I shouldn't count my chickens before they've hatched, but it looks like I will get some early figs if no animals, or I'm assuming it's animals, get these figs. So there are, I think, 3 on the tree. I can't remember exactly where the other ones have gone to, but they're somewhere in this tree. I'm not actually going to step into the garden right now because it's pretty overcrowded, but Chicago hardy. I have a few figs coming in our Chicago hardy. I hope they ripen. I hope so too. It's definitely a delicious thing. See some flowers in the garden there. And we're just gonna land down by the raspberries again. Have a few more of those. not as ripe. But you know, it's still delicious. Even though it's not fully ripe, it's still very sweet. I have 4XL, a fig. 4XL. What is 4XL? Is that a type of fig? I don't think I've heard of that variety before, if that's a fig variety. It sounds very interesting though. Just gonna eat a few more raspberries. Hello, Matsurazzi. I don't typically do fruit harvesting videos very often other than my figs and my apples. I think I did peaches, but the reason is I just come out here for things like raspberries, blueberries, strawberries, and I just eat them. I don't actually take a bowl or a basket and harvest them. I literally just come out here and eat them fresh from the plant. That is my preferred method instead of putting them in the fridge. A very, very big fig. Oh, that is so cool. Well, I have to say, thank you all for joining me on my little morning fruit tree tour. I'm going to finish eating my raspberries, and then I have a lot of things to do today. I have to go to work and a lot of other things. BlackBerry phone. You have a BlackBerry. I do not. I think I might have a long time ago. But I film and use a Google Pixel Pro 7. I love this phone so much. And in case anyone's wondering about this particular phone, or if you've thought about this phone, or any Google Pixel, maybe Google Pixel 7 and 8, the Pro versions. I dropped my phone in the water twice since I got this. And once it was submerged for a full 30 minutes, and it works fine. There was never a problem with it. So it's a great phone if you have any fear of dropping your phone in water. So thank you so much for joining me in my garden today, and we will see you hopefully soon in some kind of video. Have a lovely day, evening, or night wherever you are. You have a BlackBerry 8520, 9900, and passport. Very interesting. Okay, bye-bye.